this process like when you got so many new guys coming in, and obviously Shotty's new, but he's been around. Like,
Yeah.
how much is learning other coaches, and what's it like now?
I kind of always look at it as it's kind of like the first day of school. Everybody's excited. Happy and eager to get to work. And then from that, you transition into the honeymoon phase. Figuring each other out, figuring out the different ideals that everybody brings to the table, and it's an exciting time of the year once you get to this point.
What kind of changes do you think come offensively, or do you think it's going to be a lot of the same stuff that you guys have done?
It'll be some similarity, but one of the biggest things that really focusing in on offensively is being a little bit more physical up front, and really on both sides of the ball as a team, being physical, dominating the line of scrimmage. Is going to be a really big focal point for us this offseason and going forward. So that would be one of the biggest themes going into this deal.
Lunda, Jake came off of a Pro Bowl season going into 2024, but he battled some injury and then obviously battled some chemistry issues with the backup quarterback versus Dak not being in. What's your message to Jake as far as focusing on getting a bounce back season for 25?
The biggest emphasis is, hey, we got to make sure we're taking care of your body. We really got to do a nice job this off season, building some real good calluses on your body so that it can really handle the way that he plays the game. Last year was an unusual year for us as a team. In particular, it was unusual for him as well, with the knee injury in the first game. And then, when he got it back and worked his way back in, then boom, he's out with a concussion. So that was a tough year for him. So the biggest thing is just getting back on the horse, taking care of your body, and just putting your best foot forward this coming off season to prepare you for the season.
Do you think Schoonmaker took a step up because of that when Ferguson went down?
Well, Scooney did a nice job stepping in and carrying the torch when Jake went down the second time. Again, for Scooney, the biggest emphasis for him, going forward this offseason is to get on the grass this offseason. This will be the first time, hopefully, that he's on the grass doing OTAs, and I think that'll be an excellent segue for him to continue to progress. Because I did think as the season went on, he started playing the type of ball that we want to play, and that's the consistency, the physicality, and being an asset for us in the passing game.
And so many question marks at different positions, running back, offensive line.
Right.
But when you talk about the tight ends, I mean, your guys are under contract. You know what you have: Jake, Luke, Brevin, John when he comes back, Princeton. What's the benefit of that, especially with you deciding to come back? What's the benefit of that consistency going into next year?
Again, you always want consistency, and you always look to develop your room. I like to always say I coach the room from the back end of the room because the starters get the majority of the reps, but then that back end, you got to make sure that you're very intentional with them so that they develop, so that then when one goes down, the product looks the same or better. And I think that's always been the motto for me as a coach, and I pride myself on making sure the back end of the room are ready to go and play because they all are part of the team. They all have redeeming qualities. Some have more than others, but they also have deficiencies. So as a coach, you got to really do a great job being intentional with the deficiencies of all you guys.
You've spent a couple of years here with Brian Schottenheimer now. What stands out to you about him as a leader and as a coach?
Really the connection piece and having that competitive spirit about him, and I think that's going to really do this team a lot. In terms of him, what he brings to the table in terms of connecting with the guys, connecting with the staff, and being a competitor.
Along those lines, what's been your impression of him as the head guy now in these last couple months? How's it been different?
It's kind of still been easy going, like I said earlier, it's the honeymoon phase. So it's been shoddy, and it's been pleasant being around him. He's done a phenomenal job putting together a great staff. Did a really good job being thorough with the interview process, and I think arrows going up for us here.
Steven and Jerry Jones both talked about having continuity through change as a reason to bring back Schottenheimer. Obviously, you're also continuity through change. What do you think about that idea and how that could maybe benefit a locker room to have that?
Yeah, continuity is always good. I don't think that it's just the end-all fix of everything, but obviously seeing familiar faces help And then, like I say, the guys that he brought on staff bring a different flavor as well. So I think that between the continuity and the newness, I think we head in the right direction.
Do you find yourself coaching the coaches a little bit like you're one of the holdovers here, so when the coaches have questions about players or even where to go in the building, you're one of the veteran guys now.
Yeah, and I wouldn't say coach the coaches, is more so sharing information. Sure. We all are, especially in this phase right now, this honeymoon phase, we all are information sharing and information gathering. And I think that's the best way to go about it, having been part of a staff that has gotten turned over and you're still a part of the staff, everybody's sharing their different experiences, and I think collaboratively, that's where you really, make the big jump with a new staff.
Speaking to that turnover, you got interest from some other teams as well. Yeah. In your process as far as working through where you wanted to be in 25 and beyond, what was one of your biggest reasons for deciding to stay put here in Dallas? Again,
I have, profound love for this organization. I think this is one of the few organizations that does it the right way. A lot of people give this organization a lot of flack for not, playing in that last game, but man, they do it the right way, inside and out. The Jones family does a phenomenal job. And hiring Schotty, with that familiar face, all that got taken into consideration outside of my family life. But I mean, this is a tremendous organization, and it is a privilege to work here and coach here.
Doing something on combine interviews. Doing something on combine interviews. What do you remember about your interview with Ferguson? He said you kept beating him with the same question. And he finally did snap. He said, I'm going to F him up.
I was about to go to that. The biggest thing I remember from his interview, at the end of the formal interviews, I always ask the guy, say, turn to us and tell us why we should draft you. And he just said, man, I'm going to go out there and play hard and work hard, and I'm just going to him up. And the coach was like, okay, give me a little bit more. He's like, I'm just going to up. Like, okay, I got you, champ.
When you're in those interviews, are you trying to? What are you trying to get out of them?
The formal interviews, I'm really trying to put the player in a position like as if we're in the meeting room, and get him to talk football. I know his origin in terms of his football knowledge. Maybe get him to stand up and show me what he's been taught. Try to make it as much about being in a meeting room setting, so that then I get the best feel for him as a player.
With so many new faces, what's it been like for you?
That's good. Just make sure you get the names right, and until you get the names right, hey, just speak to everybody.